Creator economy is on the rise. I think if you want to be a content creator, this is the time for it. Every content creator ultimately wants to be an entrepreneur. Just figure out what you are good at. Don't worry कि लोग क्या कर रहे हैं और लोग क्या कहेंगे. If you are starting a business to earn a lot of money and become a billionaire, I'm sorry, that's not how it works. So for being an entrepreneur, you need a mindset, right? And that mindset is much more important than your skill set. There is audience for everything. There is audience for, dance on the road. There is audience for sustainability. There is audience for self-care. There is audience for grooming. There is audience for fashion. For all sorts of content and genres, I think we have audience in India. What else are we looking for? What time are we waiting for? This is the time.
Welcome to the Collative Podcast. In our podcast, we talk about the ever-dynamic and changing world of entrepreneurship, business, startup founders, the challenge behind creating a business out of their own. Today, we are delighted to have our guest, Dr. Sonam Mahajan, who can be seen as an example of success. She has tried her hands in multiple domains and found success in that. Please welcome Dr. Sonam Mahajan. Ma'am, thank you very much for taking out time and visiting us in our podcast.
It's a pleasure to visit you.
Dr. Puri, before we begin, I'm very fascinated and intrigued about the word I read on your LinkedIn profile, Creatorpreneur. Could you help me understand what exactly it is?
So I have been a content creator for past 7 years now. And I think that every content creator ultimately wants to be an entrepreneur, right? So whatever we have been doing on different social media platforms and creating content, we ultimately want to sell the content and not just sell other people's product and services. So basically I started off with selling the services that I have, my knowledge. So I do career counseling for students. Right? If students are stuck that, which path to choose, because of my 14 years of educational experience, higher education experience, I actually started helping students in one-on-one sessions. One. Secondly, I also help new content creators figure out their niche and start off with their content creation journeys. So a lot of women who are stay-at-home moms, they want to do something with their lives, and content creation is a good option for them. And so I help them with a business plan and a niche identification and a content strategy to figure out that this is how they can start off their journeys on Instagram or YouTube. So that is how I call myself a creatorpreneur.
Okay, so you create content creators.
Yes, I've started doing that. And I think it is an ultimate goal for every content creator to, create something of their own and sell. So if you look at big content creators who are into fashion, so they will launch their own labels, right? If somebody is a food blogger, they would ultimately start baking and selling their own cakes. So for me, since I do parent blogging and I'm into higher education, so I thought of doing and selling my own courses and my own coaching sessions.
So you have been an educator for a major part of your career.
Yes.
You're associated with Amity, you were associated with the India Today group. So how does this transition from a full-time educator to a content creator or a creatorpreneur, how did this transition happen?
So I'm a mass communication student, aaj bhi. Okay. So when you are a mass comm student, what happens is you want to try a lot of things, right? You are jack of all trades and you want to be the master of all trades. And ultimately that's what has happened with me. I started university teaching when I was 21 and a half. And I understood that this is like goal of my life because I really get very happy and thrilled when I'm in a class. And slowly and steadily, when these social media platforms came in, I started blogging. And I used to blog about movies, review movies and all. And from there, the journey started. And when I became a mother and I was on a maternity leave from my organization, I started talking about my motherhood and my experience as a new mom. And at that point of time, Instagram was gaining importance, and Instagram sounded to be, the right place to talk about motherhood. And that's how I started, this transition from being a full-time educator to become a content creator and talk about multiple things that are happening. But education would always remain my first love. That is something, teaching is something that I will always be passionate about.
And I'm sure in your online setup, you are still educating people to.
Yes, yes. So I have been very mindful of what I put on my social media. One, because I am into higher education, so a lot of young adults are looking up to me, right? So if I am mindful of what I put out as any content would have some kind of impact on them. One. Two, since I'm talking about motherhood and parenting, I don't want new moms to think otherwise. I would want them also to be mindful of what they do. So that's how I feel that everyone who is there on social media should be a little mindful of what they're putting out, because you're leaving your own digital footprint. Later on, 5 years down the line, you might regret it. So being mindful now, tomorrow you will be more happier. So many times when I look at my Facebook status in memories, I'm like, what was I writing? Why have I written this about a political party or an actor, or about, venting about a relative? Why? Right? So I don't want to make the same mistake with, let's say, Instagram or LinkedIn or YouTube. So today, when I'm mature enough, I would not make the same mistakes.
I think this is something what the young generation should hear. This responsible posting on social media.
Yes, mindful.
It's very important to post what you want to post on social media, because once it's being posted, it's there forever.
Yes.
Okay. So being said that, what can you give us some insight, as you are into this actively and full time into this online posting, and could you give some insight about the current situation of this online business, as we can call this a business as well?
Yes, it is an industry. Creator economy is on the rise. I think if you want to be a content creator, this is the time for it, right? When PM Modi ji gave out the National Creator Awards, what else are we looking for? What time are we waiting for? This is the time when the creator economy is going to rise, when we are being recognized at the national platforms. Everybody can be a content creator, right? We are just waiting कि मैं तब करूँगा जब नीश आइडेंटिफाई हो जाएगा, अरे ये तो बहुत लोग कर रहे हैं. What? Just figure out what you are good at. Don't worry कि लोग क्या कर रहे हैं और लोग क्या कहेंगे. Just do your thing. Right? When I started my motherhood journey on Instagram, there were a lot of moms talking about their motherhood. But does that mean that I will not talk about my motherhood? Everybody has unique experiences, and your content is going to be unique if you do you. If you're going to copy somebody, imitate, then of course, it is not going to be, any change. But if you do you, there will definitely be audiences for it. And there in India, I think even there is audience for everything. There is audience for, dance on the road. There is audience for sustainability. There is audience for self-care. There is audience for grooming. There is audience for fashion. For all sorts of content and genres, I think we have audience in India. And this is just the right time to start your content creation journey. Just figure out what you're good at and start posting, right? Being regular and consistent is the key. Post every day, right? Or at least 3 times in a week, and you just get going. If you keep on, thinking about it and not taking an action, you're just sitting in there.
If somebody wants to start his journey into content creation, what is the key points he or she should keep in their mind? Is a good content good enough, or do you need marketing? Do you need support system to get more audience?
I don't think you need marketing or support system for starting your content creation journey. Focus on your audience. Okay, who are your audience, or whom do you want to target? किनसे बात करना चाहते हो? That if you have figured out, everything else will fall in place. Right? Random posting and doing everything is not going to work. Focus on one kind of audience. For example, for me, it was mothers. Right? So I focused on them. Ki what would a mother be looking for? What would she want to consume? right? So create content for your audience. They will create marketing for you. They will reshare you, they will repost you, they will talk about you, and the marketing would be done. Starting your content creation journey, you don't require marketing or any kind of support system. One thing, you need a bit of a skill set, right? Try your hands on things like Canva or Lightroom or Premium Pro, so that you can do few things on your own, right? And I would also suggest people who are starting their content creation journey to to write down things. We have forgotten that, right? To write down things, organize yourself, right? You create a content calendar. On March 1, this is what I will talk about. These are the 2 stories that I will post. March 2, this will be my post. March 3, this is going to be my reel, right? So if you have that kind of a content plan or a calendar with you, it is much easier to post, right? And a bit of a skill set wherein you know how to write and how to edit, how to edit your pictures and videos and all of that.
I hope people who are listening to this are writing this down.
They can record it and maybe screen record it and hear it as many times as they want, but organizing themselves with and their content would really help them be consistent and regular with their content creation.
And I think through content creation, one can actually do what he wants to, what he loves about it. Normally doing a normal
9 to 5.
9 to 5 job. Rather than that, do this, and at least a couple of hours of your day, you can do what you actually like. Talk about things what you like, be it a book review or anything.
Yes.
A lot of content.
Content creation, if I have to tell how I manage my content creation, while I was into a 9 to 5 job, I was creating content only on weekends. Okay. So Monday morning, before I go to office, I have a weekly plan, what I'm going to do. Saturday, Sunday, I'm shooting and writing captions, right? And if I'm not driving, I'm editing my reels on the commute, right? So how are you managing it? So if you have a plan, by this time I should be able to finish this. So you will be able to finish this until and unless you're really, really a lazy person, right? Otherwise, I think planning and organizing has really helped me be consistent with my content creation.
Okay, so it's organize, plan, be disciplined.
Yes, discipline is much needed.
Okay. I was reading that you've also helped a lot of entrepreneurs to start their business, supported them to build their business from scratch. Can you give some insight on that?
So being into university teaching actually exposed me to a generation which was very different from mine. And this generation was generation of entrepreneurs. They don't want to be in a structured organization where they have to, go and punch at 9 and then leave at 5. They wanted flexi timings. They wanted to do something of their own. They don't want to be bossed around. And most of them, this transition started in 2015-16 when I started seeing postgraduate students coming and asking me, instead of asking me about placements, they were asking me, ma'am, kaun sa business karna chahiye? So after 6-7 months, I realized that all of them are much interested in doing their own thing. So that's how I started reading about entrepreneurship and trying to understand and trying to help my students. So some of them have really good podcast.
Okay.
Some of them have their own agencies. Some of them have started, cafes. So whatever their passion was, they were able to follow it. So for being an entrepreneur, you need a mindset, right? And that mindset is much more important than your skill set. Skills you must have learned over time through your education and all of that. But you should have that mindset. You should know that every day is not going to be same if you are an entrepreneur. And you need to really plan things. And people also think कि अगर मैं एंटरप्रेन्योर बन जाऊंगा तो मेरी लाइफ मस्त होगी. ऐसा नहीं होता है. आप एंटरप्रेन्योर बन गए यानी कि आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है. If 10 people are working under you, you are not just responsible for your actions but theirs as well. right? You are supposed to pay them. You are supposed to look that they are. Supervision is an important task of an entrepreneur, right? So entrepreneurship is a complex journey, and you really need a certain kind of a mindset where you are able to vision and visualize a lot of things, and you are able to manage, you are able to get things done instead of doing on your own, right? There are people, whose core value is कि हमें ये बता दिया जाए कि क्या करना है, हम वो कर देंगे एकदम परफेक्ट तरीके से, राइट, प्रोफेशनली डन. But there are people who would experiment. There are people who would take risk. There are people who would want to engage in multiple things and come to a conclusion. Entrepreneurs are of those mindsets. They are not going to from go A to B and B to C. They would try figuring out how to go A to C. So that mindset is very, very important, more than the skills that would be required for being an entrepreneur.
So you must have worked with a lot of startups, with a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So what do you think, what are certain qualities or situations, what makes a startup work, and what are the situations, what are the challenges, and what are the challenges which make a startup fail, it doesn't work?
I always tell my students, most of them when they come, even women ka have started that, helping women entrepreneurs to establish their businesses. Most of them, they come and they are like, पैसा कैसे बनेगा, कौन से business में पैसा है? So first thing that I tell them is कि if you are starting a business to earn a lot of money and become a billionaire, I'm sorry, that's not how it works. You want to become an entrepreneur because that's your passion. You want to bring in some kind of change and you want to help somebody, right? कोई ऐसा प्रोडक्ट है तुम्हारे पास जिससे किसी की लाइफ बदलेगी या उसमें कुछ पॉजिटिव चेंज आएगा. सिर्फ पैसा बनाने के लिए अगर आपका फोकस सिर्फ वही है तो आप और कुछ करिए. एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप का मतलब पैसा कमाना नहीं है. दैट वुड कम इन लेटर, राइट? बट फर्स्ट यू नीड टू फोकस ऑन what service or product you are making and how that is going to actually help the consumers or the audiences that you're looking at. And there, when you start thinking from that audience perspective, that's when you come up with a great idea or a great product that would actually bring in the money also, right? And the mindset that is required, you have to be very calm and patient. You can't lose your temperament, because there are so many things happening while you're starting up your business or when you are coming onto this journey. There are a lot of things happening, so you have to remain calm. You have to control your emotions. You have to be emotionally intelligent, right? And then only you'll be able to handle the things that are coming in, right? Organize yourself. Organizing skills are very, very important. Planning things are very, very important. You have to be a visionary and then pen them down. ऐसा नहीं कि बस विजन है, विजुअलाइज कर लिया, नहीं, लिखिए उसे. Pen them down, memo banao, make an Excel sheet, whatever works for you. But do that so that you know where are you going and how you would go. Where is the strategy? Most of the young adults who want to be entrepreneurs lack in what? They don't have a strategy. They have an idea. मुझे मखाने बेचने हैं. Very nice. It's a great market. But what is its strategy? You living in Delhi NCR thinking about growing makhanas and then selling them, where that farming would be done? बिहार जाना पड़ेगा ना तुम्हें. Where is the strategy? No research has been done. एक आइडिया से कुछ नहीं होता. You have to do, lot of research and then plan it out and then create a strategy of how to. Only then the things would fall in place.
Yes. You just said a word, emotional intelligence. You also work as a happiness coach. You work a lot on emotional intelligence. As you were just saying that the entrepreneurs should have a strategy. It puts a lot of mental pressure as well on them. What should I do? Because it's a very challenging world. It's a very fast-moving world. Everybody's doing something. You hear in news that this has founded something. This person has created this company. So this must put up a lot of pressure on the person who wants to start something. How should that person handle that pressure, that challenge in the world?
Once I became a mom and once I became a content creator who talks about parenting, I realized there were so many mothers who were depressed and were going through anxiety issues and all, which is when I thought of learning about emotions. Then I came across a course which helped me understand what emotional quotient is, what emotional intelligence is, and that's when I started practicing it. And then I actually started helping new moms become emotionally intelligent, right? We are high on hormones, we are high on emotions, and we let our emotions flow. Being emotionally intelligent would mean that you know where to use which emotion and how much to use it. And I must also say that student entrepreneurs are also in a great requirement of emotional intelligence, because whatever journeys they are on, they will require to control their EQ and know that how they can, positively use their emotions. And you rightly mentioned that, with so much of things going on, even corporate people, corporate professionals are also looking for a side hustle, right? Why? It's not just about money. What are they? They're looking for something more. And what is that more? Is that more happiness or peace? Is the question, right? I think all of them are looking for peace, which is why everybody is moving towards, emotional wellness, spiritual wellness, healing, this, that. So much of that is there on social media as well. Why? Because we are all under so much of mental pressure and we don't know how to handle our emotions. So we are looking for ways to learn and try to control our emotions in certain manner, and it is much needed in
Yes.
today's time.
Okay. You being when yourself, you being a woman creatorpreneur, do you think that in our country or in our society at large, women are being held back, or they held themselves back from being an entrepreneur or doing something of their own? If I talk about 100 founders, majority of them would be male. What do you think is the reason, or should it change, and can it change? Or
It should definitely change. And can it change? Yes, it can. I think what women in general lack and why they do not get into being entrepreneurs is confidence.
okay,
You meet an average man and a woman, the only difference you will find in both of them is confidence.
what do you think? Why do women lack confidence?
This is going to get to you have to, I shouldn't be blaming the society or so, but that's how we are brought up. All assurance, all encouragement is given to the male of the family, male child of the family. The women is always told, the girl child is always told to do this and that, this way or that way. So much of instruction has put us in a mold कि कोई बताएगा तो करेंगे.
Okay.
तो खुद में कॉन्फिडेंस ही नहीं है कुछ करने का. You get it?
Yes.
From the very beginning, from the childhood time, we are always told to do. और अगर हम खुद से कुछ करते हैं तो रोका जाता है कि नहीं, ये ऐसे नहीं करती, लड़कियां ऐसे नहीं करती. और अल्टीमेटली जब तक हम बड़े होते हैं हमें लगता है कि कोई बताएगा कि ऐसे करना है तो करेंगे. We are waiting for the instruction. We do not have confidence कि मैं जो करना चाहती हूँ वो सही होगा कि नहीं. That stops them from being an entrepreneur. उनको लगता है मैं बिजनेस स्टार्ट करूंगी, पता नहीं क्या होगा, मैं कर सकती हूँ क्या, बिजनेस तो लड़के करते हैं. I think that is inbuilt in us. So we need to break it, right? We need to make women and girls, young girls, more confident about themselves, about what they think is right or what they believe is right. If that comes in, you will see a lot of women becoming entrepreneurs. They are becoming from
Yes.
past 5 to 6 years. If you look at the data, there is an increase in women entrepreneurs as well. And there are a lot of homegrown brands which are, enterprised by women, be it bakeries or selling mattis and all of that. They are doing it on a very small scale, which is encouraging. So everybody is not becoming Namita Thapar or Vanita Singh, right? But they are starting off, and there will be a trickle down effect maybe in some years.
As you were mentioning just a while back, that It just came into my mind that even the corporate people are trying to do a side hustle.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So as I said, a lot of
I
people
was
are
one of them.
So yes, I was asking that only, that you do a lot of multitasking. You do a lot of things. You were an educator for a major part of your life. You were also doing online content. You were also creating your own stuff. So how do you manage all this? How you manage all these things in one go? Most of the people are unable to manage just one job at one point of time.
I think we take a lot of pressure of things which we shouldn't. We should live in the moment and plan. I'm a very good planner. My husband lot of times tell me you're obsessed with planners and you're obsessed with writing down things. I create a to-do list every morning. I create a to-do list every Monday morning. I create a to-do list every first of the month.
So you
Okay. So that's how I think that is how I am able to do so much. So that's the secret. So every morning I will get up. आज क्या क्या मुझे करना है, right? Every Monday morning इस week क्या क्या करना है. Every first of the month, this month what has to be accomplished, right? So that has actually helped me a lot stay organized and manage my time well. I live in a joint setup, right? So I have support with my daughter, but a mother is a mother, right? I can't say that everything is going to be done by her dada dadi. So I have to give time to my in-laws. I have to give time to my daughter with her studies and everything. Of course, I'm married, so we need that time also. The job which I left though, but so many things you do for yourself as well, right? And I am able to manage all of that only because I put it down somewhere in a memo or on a notepad. And then the feeling, the satisfaction that you get once you're done with the thing is supreme. It is the ultimate happiness, the cutting it down. कि आज ये मैंने कर लिया, right? Lot of times ऐसा नहीं है कि I finish everything that I've thought of in the morning. Sometimes I have to take them to the next week or take them to the next day, but at least I know that I was able to do let's say 3 things out of 5 or 3 things out of 10. So that accomplishment, that sense of accomplishment will give you happiness, and you will be more motivated to finish rest of the task as well. If you are not planning, you will not be able to manage your time. Time management का secret यही है कि आप plan कर लो कि कितना time किसको देना, prioritize कर लो.
discipline again.
Yeah, discipline. Yeah,
Discipline and
is something.
consistency of doing that.
If you are disciplined, I think you will be consistent. But if I have to give an example, there are people who would know कि उनको क्या क्या करना है, and they are mindful of it as well, but they might skip it because they were doing X thing which was important, and the Y thing that was also important, उसके लिए टाइम ही नहीं बचा. तो अगर आपने लिख के रखा होगा ना कहीं, तो आपको याद रहेगा, फिर आप चेक कर लोगे. जब मेरे पास वो मेमो नोट ही नहीं है तो माइंड भूल जाएगा. तो आप अगर थोड़ा सा वो कर लोगे तो आई थिंक it would be good enough. You are disciplined, but you still need to organize yourself.
I'm sure you, in your counseling to businessmen, these advices would help them a lot.
Yes, planning and organizing is everything in life.
Because a lot of people have idea, okay, well, do this, do that, but how to execute that idea? Execution is something which a major population lacks.
Yes, strategy.
Okay. Ma'am, any advice you want to give all the entrepreneurs who are maybe some 21 years old kid listening to you right now, who's planning something of his own? Any suggestions or advice you want to give to them?
The only suggestion or an advice that I would like to give young entrepreneurs is that do your thing. Do not look at others. You have the potential. You are unique. So whatever ideas you have, try to strategize them. I won't say find a coach, but you still, without a coach also, you can strategize yourself. Do a lot of research, not Google search, research, and find out that how that idea can be executed. All of us are good at something, so just figure that out, strategize, execute it, and you will be successful.
Okay, I'm really very sure that a lot of people will find your advices and suggestions very valuable because I meet a lot of in a social setting. I meet a lot of people who have okay, we got to do this, we got to do that, but they don't know the way how to do this. They're
Yeah,
just
Friday evenings
thinking,
they will
plan.
do this. Friday evenings we're done with the job. Chalo, let's sit with friends, have a drink, and you know what ideas? I think I can do that. I think I can do that. By Monday, you've forgotten it, right? So if you know a plan, if you start researching on the same thing, right, it will help you. हम रिसर्च नहीं करते हैं, हम सिर्फ अपने थॉट को लेकर सोचते रहते हैं. रिसर्च इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. देयर वाज वन ऑफ दीज बीटेक स्टूडेंट्स फ्रॉम a university that I was working with. They were doing biotech, right? And they wanted to start something into gardening. Now they are a successful unit, and though they are operational only in Delhi NCR, but they are doing very well, right? And the idea was that we are wanting to sell plants. अब प्लांट तो बहुत लोग बेचते हैं, फैंसी पॉट में भी बेचते हैं, यू नो पॉलिथीन में भी बेचते हैं. डिफरेंट क्या है? व्हाट आर यू गोइंग टू से? दैट यू हैव टू थिंक, right? So they provide gardening services, they provide plants, and they maintain your garden, and they specialize in indoor plants,
Okay.
right? And the whole of this is themed under sustainability,
Okay.
right? So the only suggestion that I gave them while they came up with this idea was that everybody is talking about eco-friendliness, everybody is talking about sustainability. Why don't you relate your company's idea to sustainability? So the first bulk of plants that they sold was in terracotta pots for being sustainable, right? So whatever ideas you have, you just need to do research, and you will know, do some trend analysis, and you will know how to relate and where to put what kind of effort. Mindlessly doing it will not help you, but research would actually, you'll be able to connect the dots. Okay, this is how I can speak about my venture, this is how I can sell my product, right? This is how it will be beneficial to people, and if something is beneficial to people, they will buy it, right?
Our last guest, he also mentioned that agri-tech and the agriculture sector.
Yes.
This is one of the next big things which is going to be in
Yes.
India.
There are a lot of people who are wanting to get into organic farming, and even this thing, avocados. Few days ago, there was this lady who was talking about that. I want to set up an avocado toast ka shop. She is very good. She creates content on food, and she creates yummy avocado toast banati hai wo, and she wants to sell it. So now she was asking me how to. I said पहले तो अपनी सोसाइटी में जो मेले लगते हैं ना, वहाँ पे बेचो, बिकता है क्या? And she said okay. So now there is this holy festival in her society, so she has got a space, and she'll be selling her avocado toast in that festival. That's how you start. She will make money. With that money, she can think about other things, right? So every one of us have something special, but we do not know how to monetize it, right? You figure out smaller ways. हर कोई निकलते से billionaire नहीं बन जाएगा, right? Every content creator will not become Curly Tails or Kusha Kapila, right? But you start somewhere. And everybody has their own unique journeys. I don't know if her avocado toast will become the next big thing. It
Yeah.
might.
Food blogging and food Instagram reels are something which my Instagram is flooded with it.
Yes. So avocado farming has also started in India recently. From 2022, farmers in South India have started farming avocados. So imagine the kind of market we have for it. And somebody sitting in Delhi NCR is wanting to sell avocado toast to people. Right? Very, very, there are so many beautiful things happening. We only know how to strategize and execute our stuff.
Talking about that, you mentioned sustainability. You work a lot on sustainability.
Yes.
How important in today's world with all the global warming we hear about sustainability? How important is sustainability and eco-friendliness, and how as an individual, one person, not being a part of something very big, but as an individual, how can somebody contribute to it, in your opinion?
I think I talk about sustainable parenting on my blog. I think Indian households are the best examples of sustainability. हम कोई चीज वेस्ट नहीं करते, कोई भी चीज. Look at your mom. She is not going to waste a single thing. आखिरी drop of coconut oil is also used. Right?
Absolutely. Story of a
The t-shirt that you wore once, ultimate use उसका mopping तक उसका use आप कर रहे हो. Right? We are ultimate examples of it. Just we have forgotten it. We have moved towards consumerism, wherein we are just hoarding stuff and don't know how to use it. People ask me, one of the moms were asking me कि कौन सा bag shopping के लिए मैं use करूँ for my daughter. I was like, whatever bag you have with you is the best bag. Why are you going to buy another bag for shopping? चाहे वो प्लास्टिक हो, चाहे वो कॉटन हो, चाहे वो पेपर बैग हो. Everything is going to be in the landfill if you do not use it. If you have a plastic polythene bag with you, try use it as many times as possible. Paper bag भी कितनी बार आप यूज करते हो, फिर आप उसको फाड़ कर फेंक देते हो. उसके अंदर भी प्लास्टिक कोटिंग लगा होता है बिकॉज इट हैज टू बी ड्यूरेबल. सो अल्टीमेटली इट इज कमिंग टू द लैंडफिल. कॉटन बैग को बनाने में, उसकी प्रोडक्शन में इतना इट इज नॉट इको फ्रेंडली एट ऑल. इतना पोल्यूशन तो उसी में क्रिएट हो जाता है.
Cotton bags.
कॉटन बैग्स, कॉटन की फार्मिंग में कितना पानी लगेगा. थिंक अबाउट दैट. सो वट एवर बैग्स यू हैव, यूज देम. वट एवर बॉटल्स, प्लास्टिक का बॉटल उसको फेंकना समझदारी नहीं है. दैट इज नॉट सस्टेनेबिलिटी कि आई विल नाउ बाय अ ग्लास बॉटल. यूज द प्लास्टिक बॉटल टू द अल्टीमेट. ऑप्टिमम यूसेज करिए उसकी जो आपके पास है. नई चीजें खरीदने से, सस्टेनेबल प्रोडक्ट खरीदने से आप सस्टेनेबल नहीं बनेंगे. जो आपके पास है उसको सस्टेनेबली यूज करने से आप सस्टेनेबल बनेंगे. एंड दैट्स माई एडवाइस एंड दैट्स व्हाट आई डू ऑल्सो. इफ आई हैव समथिंग आई विल यूज इट टू द लास्ट ऑफ इट. राइट? एंड मे बी ट्राई टू रिपेयर इट. जूता टूट गया तो रिपेयर करा लो. उसको मेड को देना समझदारी नहीं है. राइट? She's not going to wear the same shoe size that you wear. I'm sorry. Repair it. Reuse it. There are so many dresses that my daughter wears are made out of my saris and my dadis and my mother's saris. Because every time on an occasion, if you're buying a new thing, you're also telling your child that for every occasion and every festival, you have to buy a new thing. My daughter is very sustainable.
I think this is something from our generation can relate to it very much because this is something which was story in our homes.
Yes.
From a t-shirt becoming to a mop, from repairing our shoes, something. It is still a part of our homes.
Yes.
Probably the very young generation, that is something. Sustainability is also being marketed in a way in our minds that we have to buy eco-friendly products to be sustainable.
Sorry, that's not the way. That's not sustainability. Does not mean that you're going to buy a glass bottle or any other sustainable product. The t-shirt that you wear, the bottle that you use, the bag that you have at home is the thing that you are going to use. प्लास्टिक की बॉटल को फेंक के ग्लास बॉटल खरीदना सस्टेनेबिलिटी थोड़ी है. आपने तो लैंडफिल करा. So that's the thing. Yes, if you're buying a lot of books, switch to ebooks. Right? That's a small thing. So if I have to buy a new book, I would rather buy a Kindle version of it instead of buying the hard copy. Right? That okay, let's not, something that I do for myself कि okay, ये थोड़ा eco-friendly हो जाएगा कि मैं online ही पढ़ लूँगी उसे. Right? That's a small thing. But other changes, I think we don't need to make substantial changes to become sustainable.
I have a lot of questions regarding the work you do online, the content you create, but I think we're a little short in time. So thank you very much, ma'am, for all the insights you give, for the advices.
It's been a pleasure.
I'm sure the viewers, especially the young generation, will find it very useful.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for watching our podcast. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. For more content like this on entrepreneurship and business world, please subscribe to our channel.